The Seahawks had quite an interesting game this week, playing the Houston Texans. Final score 41-38. The highest scoring game by far in this NFL season. What did you guys see in this game? Was it good offense by both teams? Was it lack of defense? What did you guys see?
I think that I would be lying if I was like, I figured Houston would come in and score almost 40 points against the Seattle defense. Like, that's something that was extremely unexpected, I guess. I think from a lot of people, because, the Texans come in, they got a rookie quarterback. I mean, they have weapons, but they had a rookie quarterback, and what we did expect to happen, Deshaun Watson from the Texans made some huge mistakes. He threw 3 interceptions. And it was just kind of, some things happened that you thought would, and more things happened that you didn't think would. That's where I sit with what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, I would say, my kind of theme of the day was quarterback play. Deshaun Watson. Well, both Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson both led their teams in passing. That's typically going to be true.
They are the quarterbacks.
Wow.
But leading in passing and rushing. Deshaun Watson had 67 rushing yards, and Russell Wilson had 30 yards, which was the high for the Seahawks, which, is another theme, which was no running game or lack thereof. But, both quarterbacks played lights out. Watson, he did show his rookie experience, throwing 3 picks on the day, but he did have 4 touchdowns.
Both QBs were over 400 passing yards for the day.
Yes, Watson was 19 for 30 with 402 yards. I wasn't expecting that either, for him to come into CenturyLink with the crowd noise and that defense, and what he did, he made them look silly out there on the field.
Seth, what do you think of everything that happened on Sunday? What's your ultimate takeaway?
Well, I got to give props to Houston. I think they are a better team than their record of 3-4.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a lot better than that. I think they're a playoff team in a weak division. But I also think they're set up for the future with Deshaun Watson. Anybody who can put up almost 40 points against the Seattle defense is good.
Right.
Undoubtedly good.
Right. It's and we gotta go ahead and mention those final couple of minutes during our bonus show. We had a guy call in and talk about Russell Wilson throws a pick late in that game. It was the only pick that Russell Wilson threw, but he threw it late in that game, and the Texans had a chance to just run the timeout, right? I mean, something similar to that, and they weren't able to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward, the Seahawks break off a huge chunk play and then get down near the red zone, and the Texans don't know what defense they're running, and Jimmy Graham, walks into the end zone, catches a pass, and
they
scores
just
the
run
game.
a 3 vertical concepts there, and it's just
But the
like
way
you said, the Texans didn't know what they were doing.
They had no idea,
Mm-hmm.
They were playing 3 different defenses when, the team needs to be playing one, and Graham catches the ball, runs into the end zone. Is this another case where we should start to talk about, who beat who? Because both teams played really well offensively, like we mentioned before. They've combined for nearly 1,000 yards. But the mistakes that the Texans made late in that ball game, did they cost themselves the game ultimately, or was it more of Seahawks broke off the big plays they needed to and found the guy they needed to at the end and won it? What is it?
You can definitely make that argument. I think you could make a good argument either way.
Right, so we got to pick one.
But good teams will go out, make those plays at the end, and yes, Houston is a good team, but Seattle, with a lot more experience on their roster, made those plays at the end of the game that Houston didn't.
I mean, any game you're gonna have a case where, we beat ourselves or we didn't play.
Well, not any game. I mean, if we're sitting here talking about a 40-13 game, yeah, the Seahawks walked all over. The Texans probably don't have a chance to go, yeah, we beat ourselves and we lost by 4 touchdowns. No.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna say no on that one.
In that 40 to for example, if the Hawks did come out and beat the Texans 40-13, the Texans probably made mistakes that cost them the game. I would say about 85% of the games there is going to be a rhyme or a reason that a team lost, whether that be turnovers, not executing up to their full potential, or something.
Yeah, but if you don't execute plays, that's because the other team beat you.
Yeah,
get out of your PR.
But
come on.
but you can also make a case for people not doing their job, and that ultimately
because the other team beat you. The other team was better than you, causing you to not do your job. But this is a case where it's a close game. The Seahawks win partially because the Red Seas parted for Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Pick a side. Did the Texans beat themselves? Did the Seahawks beat themselves?
Texans beat themselves.
Wow, he's going to go that way with it because they couldn't come up with that defense, or because they could all of what happened in the last 5 minutes.
All of what happened in the last 5 minutes, and
Very interesting.
The pick six and the turnovers that Deshaun Watson had.
We also had a caller during the bonus show, obviously call in and talk about how Russell Wilson isn't getting the praise he deserves. Maybe he is here in the Northwest, but around the nation as far as being one of the best quarterbacks in the league. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I stated earlier in the year that he is a second-tier quarterback, and I'll stick with that. He is playing great football right now, and he's making a case for him being the MVP just because he simply is really valuable to the Seahawks team.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. I don't think he's getting enough praise because, like I've said before, not very many teams on the West Coast get a lot of publicity. It's always, Patriots, Cowboys, things like that. And that's just a lack of coverage on the West Coast, which has always been a problem in sports.
80% of the time in the United States is held in the Midwest and the East, and that's a lot of the reason for that. But Seth, let's go ahead, give your thoughts on if Russell Wilson is being regarded as a great quarterback as he should be, or if he needs more.
I think he's a B+ quarterback playing at an A level right now.
Ooh, look at that.
I disagree, DJ, that he's not getting the credit that he deserves. This week, the Seahawks are ranked number 1 in the power rankings, and that wouldn't be the case.
Which power rankings was that in?
I can't remember.
There's like
Yeah,
30 different that come out all the time. It's just like an AP poll.
I'm sure it was at least a couple of the rankings,
right. But yeah, go on.
They wouldn't be there if people weren't recognizing, like, wow, the Seahawks are playing very well offensively, defensively. They're looking like a juggernaut who's going to be there again come February.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I can agree with that. I do think he, right now, is playing not only up to his potential, but exceeding that a little bit. And like you said, they are up there in the power rankings. A couple other ones I saw had him ranked like 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
So I can't say he's playing bad because he's not.
I think we're shifting towards the way that I described it to the caller was that the narrative with the Seahawks have been they're so defense oriented, which I still think that when a lot of people around the country think of the Seattle Seahawks, they think Legion of Boom.
Yes.
And their safeties and all of that stuff. Now we're starting to see the transition where it's not about that defense anymore, and it's more about Russell Wilson. I think we're a little early to the Russell Wilson trend, but as soon as it gets to the point where it's all about Russell Wilson, it will be.